When you think of the American Wild West, what kind of food comes to mind? Hearty stews, maybe some biscuits and gravy, perhaps a corn pone or two. Well, when it comes to cowboy cuisine, there's a lot more to the story than beans, bacon, and bread. Join us today as we look at 4 things cowboys really ate in the Wild West. Before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos. And we have a special treat for you at the end of this one, so stick around. Let's jump right into it. No. 1. The hard tack. Ah, yes, the hard tack. This was a staple of the cowboy diet. And it sounds pretty appetizing, doesn't it? Don't be fooled by its name. This stuff wasn't fit for a horse, let alone a human being. Essentially, hardtack was just a piece of dried meat, usually beef, that was cooked until it was rocked hard and then pounded into a flat rectangle. It would last for years if stored properly and could easily be carried along on cattle drives. No wonder the cowboys preferred to eat something else. However, if you were given a piece of hardtack and asked to eat it, there was no excuse to refuse. After all, this was the government-issue food, first served to Native Americans and then adopted by the U.S. Army and later the cowboys. If they offered it to you, it was either eat it or starve. Hardtack was also issued to sailors on long voyages who had little to no access to fresh food, and it often came infested with insects and worms. Yikes. The best way to eat it, you ask? Some preferred to break it up into smaller pieces, while others ground it into powder. Some even soaked it in their coffee, which is probably where the saying, tough as hardtack, came from. Interestingly enough, hardtack was still being served to soldiers during World War II. Can you imagine chowing down on that old chewy thing? Talk about a ration. No. 2. Breaded oysters. You heard us right. We said breaded oysters. We know you didn't picture this one coming, but this Wild West dish was all the rage out west as the eastern United States began to industrialize in the mid-1800s. Many people moved out west to seek new opportunities in mining, ranching, and farming. With them, they brought their taste for city life, including restaurants. And what did these restaurants serve? Oysters. They were easy to transport and very popular back east, so naturally they made their way onto menus out west as well. But how did those oysters get prepared? How did they stay fresh? The answer is simple. They were canned. That's right. Breaded oysters were packed into cans with a rich and tasty broth. Then the can was sealed, heated, and ready to eat. In fact, this became such a hit that during the height of the oyster craze, over 3 million cans of breaded oysters were shipped out west every single year. These were sold to miners and cowboys and were considered a delicacy among them. In some cases, cowboys would pay an entire month's board for just 1 can of breaded oysters. And can you blame them? Canned oysters remain a delicacy even today, and you can find them on the shelves of most grocery stores. However, we advise you to steer clear of the generic brands. Go for the good stuff. Trust us on this. No. 3. Sausage. It should come as no surprise that sausage was a staple of the cowboy diet. When supplies were low, what better source of protein could there be? Of course, sausages made from less desirable cuts of meat were popular because the toughness of the meat lent itself well to grinding. During the days before refrigeration, sausage could be preserved for months and was often eaten by cowboys on their cattle drives. Now, there are different ways of making sausage, and the ingredients varied depending on where the cook was from. For example, a German sausage might contain more spices like sage and marjoram, but almost all of them included pork or beef, along with whatever seasonings the cook had handy. Since there weren't too many grocery stores around, cooks got creative and used whatever they had available. Sometimes saltpeter, which is also used to preserve wood, was added to the mix. Yeah, We don't recommend it. To make sausage, the meat was ground up and mixed with the chosen seasoning. Then the mixture was stuffed into casings, which could be made of animal intestines or, just regular old casing material. Some sausages were smoked, others were dried, and some were simply boiled. Regardless of how they were prepared, though, they were always delicious. And number 4, alligator. Yes, you heard us correctly. It's not a bird dropping. It's alligator. Seems like cowboys were quite fond of this particular dish, and it was especially popular out in Texas. They called it alligator steak, but really, it's more of a stew. The preparation was simple. The meat was cut into small chunks, and then boiled or brothy. It wasn't fancy, but it was hearty and filling. Most times the meat was combined with other ingredients like corn or potatoes. At times, however, alligator meat was grilled or fried, and believe it or not, some cowboys even liked to pair it with ketchup. Sounds strange, but apparently it was quite tasty. Once you get past the whole gator thing, that is, alligator meat has a unique flavor that some compare to chicken and others compare to fish. It's tough and lean, but with the right preparation, it can be quite tender. Still not convinced? Just remember, it's an excellent source of protein and low in fat and calories. Plus, it's a celebrity chef Tyler Florence raves about its health benefits, saying, quote, alligator meat is extremely healthy. It's lean, mean protein with omega-3 fatty acids and without the cholesterol. Now, it is safe to say that cowboys were only thinking about cholesterol, omega-3 fatty acids, when they ate their alligator meat. They just knew it tasted good. And gator meat was relatively easy to obtain in parts of Texas. Alligators live in the wild in southern Texas and are sometimes seen sunning themselves on riverbanks. It was easy to prey for cowboys looking to spice up their meals. And speaking of spicing things up, how about a game of what would cowboys eat? Oh, yeah, here we go. So what do you think you'd find in a cowboy's pantry? Let us know in the comments section below. We have another video on screen right now that we know you're going to love. So click on that, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.